So one of my biggest frustrations with a lot of people when it comes to business is setting a marketing and advertising budget. The reason why is because if you actually know how to scale up a business, if you actually have capacity, then you should never stop trying to scale a company up unless you're losing money. So what we need to do instead is find a way to become profitable with our advertising. And if you're profitable with your advertising, then you shouldn't take your foot off the gas. You want to put your foot down as hard as you possibly can because you don't know how long that ad is going to work, the media channel is going to work, how long customers are going to be interested in what it is you're selling or how you're selling it, how long the copywriting is going to work. You want to push that as hard and as fast as you possibly can and kind of try and make the wheels come off the bus. Now, you don't want to end up in a situation where you can't fulfill. That's really important. If you are profitable, there is no reason to slow down. And the reason I want to bring this up is because let's just say you're selling something on e-commerce and you have 10,000 units you can sell. And you finally find an ad that's working and you want to sell as many of these 10,000 units as possible, but you say, okay, well, I have a $5,000 per month marketing budget. If you sell 2,000 units with a $5,000 budget by the 15th of the month, are you just going to stop? Or are you going to say, well, let's go ahead and continue advertising because we're only halfway through the month and we've already sold out 40% of our products. Why wouldn't we continue to advertise and sell out the rest of our products? Again, this is assuming you're profitable. If you're not profitable, then you shouldn't scale an advertisement campaign up anyway. But if you are profitable, you want to scale this up. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we did this years ago now, unfortunately, and how it all fell apart. Hi, my name is Jeff Barnes. I'm with Digital Evolution Marketing Group. And back in 2018 and 2019, my business partner Greg and I ran 20 plus different e-commerce stores. And it was during that time that we discovered every single pain point every e-commerce seller has, because we scaled from $0 in 2018, in November of 2018 when we launched our first store, to $17 million in sales by July of 2019. So in about 8 months, we generated $17 million in revenue. Now, that's an awesome thing to do and was a lot of fun. We were spending over $100,000 a day on advertising. We were making upwards of $200,000 to $250,000 per day some days in revenue, and all of this was profitable, which was great. And what we did, and this is really, really important for people to understand, what we did is we tested a massive amount of creatives because we had products that we knew could sell. We had products that we knew people liked. These were not newfangled technologies that people had never heard of. These were simple things, beauty mirrors and makeup sets and car phone holders and, lamps that you would put on your desk, housewares, things that people would normally buy anyways. And we knew how to sell them. So what we did is we created a massive amount of creatives for every single product we wanted to sell. When we did that, as soon as we found an advertisement that worked with the market that worked, right? So the right advertising creative to the right person that's looking at this on the right media, we're using Facebook and Instagram for our advertisements, we scaled it up tremendously fast. And the reason we did that was because we could do it profitably. If you're not doing it profitably, you shouldn't do this. But what we found is if we spent $50 in advertising money and we made $100 back and we knew that our profit margin was roughly 18%, then we knew we were making money on this. If we spent $50 and we only made $60 back and we still had an 18% margin or a cost of goods rather, we were losing money. So we didn't do that. So we had to make sure that we were actually making money. So of course, there was a lot of tracking, spreadsheet after spreadsheet after spreadsheet. QuickBooks couldn't handle it, and accountants were too slow. So we had automations going into spreadsheets to make sure we knew that we were making money on every advertisement campaign. And if we weren't, we killed it. But as soon as we found an advertisement campaign that worked, maybe we go from $50 one day to $500 by the next day to $5,000 by the third day on that one advertising campaign. And why would we do that? Well, because as the campaign scaled, so did the profitability. Because we got economies of scale and we were able to start getting in front of a lot more people faster who still wanted to buy this product. That was a great lesson for us because it allowed us to go from $5,000 campaigns to $50,000 to $100,000 per day. And again, all profitable. That's the important point that I really want to make here, is that we had our eyes on the numbers all the time. We had over 40 people helping us create the ads and creating the creatives, meaning the images, the videos, the copywriting, all of that. We made sure that our shopping carts were optimized. We fixed all of the bugs we could possibly fix, right? We had all of the analytics installed that you could possibly install to track everything we did so we could measure it. Because if you can't measure it, you don't know what piece or part is broken. And if you don't know what's broken, you don't know what to fix. But when you're making money, you want to make sure it keeps working. And so what we ended up doing was we would scale these campaigns up whenever we found a really good product that we could sell. And we'd scale it to a point where either people stopped buying it, maybe we saturated our local markets, or unfortunately, what ended up happening most often was we outsold our supply. And so we ended up having to go from one product to the next product to the next because we just couldn't manufacture them fast enough. That's how good we got at scaling things up. So as we did this, we realized that it was all about the advertising and the marketing systems. That was the most important piece, because there's millions and millions of products out there, and a lot of people have no idea how to advertise their products or how to get their products in front of the right people. So we got really good at creating the advertising campaigns, the marketing campaigns, the follow-up systems, and all of that. Now, that's all the good part of the story, and that's what allowed us to get to roughly $3 million a month in revenue by the end of July 2019. However, there's a dark side to this one. Remember I told you that we started scaling up so fast that we outstripped our ability to manufacture the products fast enough. Well, this is where the operations piece comes in. And if you don't have your sales, your marketing, and your operations 100% aligned, this is what happens. Unfortunately, as a result of us being able to scale things up so quickly, our manufacturer was not able to keep pace. The problem with that was our manufacturer didn't tell us this until after we'd already sold the products. So we had oversold our capabilities. And as a result, starting in August of 2019, we had to issue 50,000 refunds. Now, if you've ever had to issue a refund in the first place, you know how unbearable it is. You don't like to issue one refund, let alone 100, let alone 1,000, or even 50,000 refunds. So even though we'd made all this money, we'd already spent the money on advertising. We couldn't just give everybody all their money back. So now we were in a real pickle. And whenever this happens, you try and do as much damage control as you possibly can. But even as fast as you can work and as much as you want to give everybody their money back, the money's already been spent, right? It's not like Facebook or Instagram were going to be giving us any sort of refunds on our advertising dollars. So we could only refund so many people. Luckily, a few other people took other products in lieu of the ones they bought, but it still didn't save the ship. And that's why, unfortunately, instead of me sitting here today telling you about our $170 million a year e-commerce business, we had to shut that one down. And when you shut a business down because you're issuing that many refunds, banks and merchant accounts and all of them, they don't let you open those back up until you've made everything right. So it took us a long time to get everything squared away, get everything fixed. And as a result, in the meantime, we lost that. And then COVID happened and we lost our entire supply chain in the process. So unfortunately, that was one of the downsides of this. But the lessons that we learned, the important things we learned, one is the way to build an e-commerce store properly. That's where LaunchCart comes in, because we learned all the pain points of WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Shopify, you name it. We learned the pain points and we've solved them. The second thing that we learned is how important your advertising, your creative is, winning campaigns, creating campaigns that are successful and profitable. And the third thing that I want every business owner who's watching this to take away is that when you find an advertising campaign that works, you push on it. You keep it going. You don't just say, okay, well, I'm okay with just spending $100 and making $200. If you're spending $100 and making $200, why not spend $1,000 and make $2,000? As long as you don't outsell your capacity to supply, right? That's the big lesson. That's unfortunately the lesson that we learned the hard way. We were trying to prevent that from happening, but unfortunately it didn't work out in our favor. So I'm here telling you the horror stories and the war stories of going through that. Don't be that guy, but do push hard on those advertising campaigns. If you're making money profitably and you can fulfill all the orders and you can keep your customers happy, there is no reason to slow down. That is how you scale a business. You make sure your marketing, your sales, and your operations are in 100% alignment. So you always are fulfilling on what you sold, and you continue to scale up your advertising to meet those demands of the customers. So I'd say that's one of the biggest lessons I learned when scaling up an e-commerce brand. Hopefully it's helpful for you, and hopefully it helps you understand why I push so hard on our clients, telling them they need to spend more money on advertising as long as they're making money doing it. Thanks.